Cue music. We're all about class when it comes to pens, and we like to let it show. Welcome to Fountain Pen Radio, presented by FPGeeks.com. And now for your fountain pen enthusiast hosts, here's Eric and Dan. Gentlemen.
This is Fountain Pen Geeks Podcast, episode number 32 for Tuesday, July 10th, 2012. We are recording live on Sunday, July 8th. Welcome to Fountain Pen Radio. My name is Eric.
And I'm Dan.
Dan, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. It's warm here in Southern California. I suppose it's the same for you in Iowa?
Yeah, it's actually been about 75 all day. It's fantastic, especially after like the 105 we had yesterday.
105 is too much. 75 is perfect. Speaking of great weather in Southern California, I see we have Mr. Greg Minuskin with us today, standing in some Southern California sunshine. How are you, Mr. Minuskin?
I am great, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing very well. I see trees behind you. I see wind chimes. And I see, like, I think a corner of a pool, perhaps. Don't fall in.
Yeah. Oh, no. But I have some, the way we get nibs here is we get them in very unique ways.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have somebody helping me out here. And here he is. Can you see
We
him?
can see that we're diving for nibs.
No. Oh, look at that!
Oh,
Look.
wow.
We got.
Isn't that fantastic?
We got. What is that?
Yeah. These are nibs.
Nibs and a sand dollar
Wow.
and either a couple of rocks or.
Sand dollar. Yeah. And some rocks and you name it. Abalone. But we found these just at the bottom just now, so this is where I get some of my nibs as well. At the bottom of the swimming pool.
Well, every week it is a surprise.
Right?
Every time you're on the show, we are surprised to learn where you find and what you do with your nibs, Mr. Minuskin.
Well, this is how I also do repairs and restoration. So oftentimes it's a quick sport, So, but I'm glad that you approve of my methods. And now I will go inside and leave my assistant to enjoy the rest of the day in the pool. Okay?
Yes, I'm going to have to come over there and search for some nibs someday.
That's
You
right.
know, I really don't care how he gets his nibs because I've used his products and I love them. So you just keep doing whatever you do, Mr. Minuskin, because it's obviously working.
Okay, good.
I'll second that. All right, you go to the studio and Dan and I will talk behind your back.
Oh, okay.
Dan?
Yes.
We've got a new pen that we're giving away this month. Have you read all about that?
Yes, we do. Wow.
I haven't seen your entry come in yet.
Am I allowed to enter? Because I'll send them by the dozens.
You can enter. I just won't put them in the pile to be picked.
I know.
So what are we giving away?
The Franklin-Christoph Model 66 desk pen. Wow. We've actually, you have two of these. I've written with the tester set at the LA Pen Show. They're beautiful pens, very comfortable. You've got a wide array of nib options. It's an awesome contest. Thank you to Franklin-Christoph for donating this pen. It's very generous of them, and we hope to smash our entry from last month.
We'll see about that. Yeah, it was 407 from last month. We'll see where we go with Franklin-Christoph. Yes, Scott Franklin of Franklin-Christoph was very generous to donate this pen. It's the Model 66, which is the larger of the two desk pens, and it will come with any of the steel nibs that they offer, which I don't know if it starts at extra fine, but I know it's fine, medium, broad, and there's a broad. There's a stub broad and a stub medium,
italic.
And an italic broad and italic medium, and they're all tuned by Mike Masuyama.
Yes,
which
really
is amazing. Greg's back. Here, let me bring the picture back. There you are, Greg. Yes, all the pens.
Hi, everyone, TV land.
All the pens that come from Franklin-Christoph go through Mike first, which is amazing.
Wow. Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I love Franklin-Christoph pens so much, and if I buy anything, it's going to be a custom ground nib. So
yeah, very nice, very nice. I'm glad to see that you made it back to your studio, Mr. Minuskin. We can now talk about pen shows. How's that sound?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready. I'm ready for pen shows.
The next pen show coming up that I know of is July 20th to the 22nd in Miami, the Miami Pen Show. Dan, you got some prices there for us.
Yeah, we do. So it's coming up pretty quick. July 20th through the 22nd. A one-day pass is $10, a two-day pass is $15, and a three-day pass is $25. Not bad prices for admission there. They got a lot of things going on. Definitely check out their website at miamipenshow.com. Deborah Basil will be holding a calligraphy class. Roger Cromwell and Susan Worth will also each be speaking there. They're going to have some pen drawings throughout the weekend. And the cool thing is you don't need to be present to win them. So that's very cool. I've never been to the Miami Pen Show. I'd love to get down there. But the next one coming up is the DC Super Show, August 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And we will have more details about that as it approaches.
Yes, we will. Very, very nicely said, Mr. Smith. The one detail we do know that Mr. Smith announced last week was that he will not be there. Is that still true? Because, I'm going to ask you every week until we get there.
Well, unless I find a big bag of money on the street somewhere, yeah, it's not going to change.
But come to my swimming pool, you'll find nibs at the bottom.
Find nibs, you can sell them on eBay for the money. Yeah, but first you have to get to L.A. I will be there. Mr. Minuskin, I'm sure you'll be at D.C.
Oh, I'll be there, and bright I am, bushy tail. I will be there for 2 days with Michael Saul, a
Again
Spencerian.
with Michael Saul.
Yes, he will be at my table doing his Spencerian samples, writing people's names wherever you like on those lovely little pieces of cards as well. And I will have over 100 fountain pens, mostly vintage, for sale to the general public. Many with modified and specialized nibs. So find me quick and find me fast.
Now, I've never been to D.C. Is it the same as in Los Angeles that when you arrive, everybody rushes to you and tries to, well, they act like they're trying to help you.
Honey.
Like bees to honey, okay.
So.
And Michael Soul was also at Los Angeles in February. So
That's
I'll
correct.
get to see him again and watch his amazing talent come to life. Because he just writes everybody's name.
And he also will be selling some products too, like his cursive book, his Spencerian book and stuff. Yeah,
we each have a copy of that.
Right, that's the American Cursive Handbook, handwriting book. Does he also have a Spencerian book, or is we're just talking about the one book?
He may have one. I'm not sure. Okay. He's working on another project.
If he has another one, then I need that one. But will he have some of his pen holders there?
Absolutely. They're easily transportable. We will be coming from the IAMPITH convention in Milwaukee, straight from the Master Penman's convention.
Okay. So that's a long trip for you.
Well, I'm going to be at IAMPITH from Sunday till Thursday, and then Mike and I then travel together on the same plane. I arranged it from Milwaukee then to D.C. for then the D.C. show.
Fantastic. Well, if I don't see you beforehand, I'll see you there.
Absolutely.
Dan will still work on you. Every week I'm going to ask you. Every week.
All right.
Poll question. I'm sure we had a poll question last week.
Yes, we did.
It was something about money, wasn't it?
Yeah, with the first half of 2012 now behind us, what's the status of your pen and paraphernalia budget? We had 31% say, budget? Am I supposed to have a budget? I definitely fell into that group. Eric, were you in that group?
I could have been, but instead I chose to say that I'm way over budget and I blame FPGeeks. And oh boy, do I blame FPGeeks.
And so the other group was I've spent so much I can't even look. We had 11% of people respond to that, and 10% said I've spent just what I had planned. So it's nice to see that people can actually stick to their budget. So
yeah,
it's encouraging.
All 10% of us.
I cater to the 31%. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you're. Yeah, we could blame you for that. But
yes,
then,
I will take the blame to the bank. Thank you.
We can also blame all the news that hits the FPGeeks website, and this past week was no exception. What have we got going on here with classic pens and Sailor?
Well, Andreas Lebrau, the man behind Classic Pens, he's also the author of Fountain Pens of the World and Fountain Pens of Japan, two very massive books about fountain pens. He's working with Sailor to create a new pen, the LB5, based off the King of Pen. Now, this is a massive pen. I mean, this is larger than the Montblanc 149. And he's going to make this pen available in 5 different colors with 50 pens available in each color. And with each pen, you'll get a copy of Fountain Pens of Japan, which is like, I think, what, a $250, $300 book or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. And so we were supposed to get official prices on these pens this week, but I didn't see that update come out. They should be available around October, and we're expecting prices to be in the $1,500 range.
And that's for all 5 pens.
No, that's for a single
Each pen is $1,500.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, if I may comment,
Please do.
I like the pens. Doesn't the swirl patterns remind you of the gaseous clouds of Jupiter? I mean, I'm always fascinated by how they can do that with plastic and make it so even and so subtle. It just amazes me what those pens look like, and I'm really impressed.
They are absolutely beautiful pens, and yes, now that you mention it, that does look like they took a little slice of Jupiter's atmosphere and made it into a fountain pen.
It's crazy, yeah. And we do have at the website pictures of the actual material turned down so you can see what it will look like. This picture that you're viewing on the video right now is actually a mock-up of what the color would look like. So,
Oh, this is a mock-up. Oh, I want to see the real thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they're beautiful. I wonder, you say October, so I won't see them in D.C.
No, they will be in DC.
They will be in DC.
Yes, they will have prototypes available there, and I think you can pre-order them if you want to.
So I'll be sure to get some first-hand photos and send them to you, Mr. Smith.
I sure hope so.
They'll be especially for you.
Well, will you guys at DC be doing that uplink where you'll be doing like wandering the show like you did in LA and Chicago?
We're going to try,
Okay.
or at least I'm going to try. I'm still hoping Dan will be there. It all depends on internet connection. We have not found any show yet. Not that we've been to all of them, but Los Angeles and Chicago we are familiar with, and neither of those have really great internet connections in the ballroom itself.
Right.
So it will depend. DC might be a completely different ballgame.
Okay.
Chicago was terrible. LA, the only reason we could do it from there is because I got a decent cellular signal. So, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's always our goal. We want to be on the floor and bring everybody with us, but it all depends. We'll see when we get there.
Okay.
Well, what do you know about Karl Lagerfeld?
I actually never even heard of this guy.
You haven't never heard of him?
No, not until I saw this collection. I guess he's a world-renowned designer. Certainly seems the eccentric type, but he's teamed up with ST Dupont to create the Dupont collection. And there's 2 styles available here, the Prestige and the Chic. Now, with each collection, there's a ballpoint, a rollerball, a fountain pen, and a lighter. And the Prestige features a specially developed red lacquer with gold-plated hardware, and the fountain pen alone runs almost 500 pounds. That's about $760.
Wow.
And the Chic, which I actually prefer, uses a black lacquer with palladium-plated hardware, and it's actually quite a bit cheaper, about 395 pounds, $611. The thing I don't like about the design is there seems to be a very large step from the section to the barrel, and it just doesn't seem very practical to me.
You know, Dan, I have to say you're absolutely right about that. And that was I did my show notes this morning when Eric, sent me the outline, and I have to say that's the one thing that I noticed about this. It may look cool, but from a writing comfort standpoint, I don't know if it's going to be engineered to the extent for use. And that's something that I really wanted to say. And also this guy Karl Lagerfeld. He looks like a cross between an aging Hell's Angel and an English vicar.
But he has looked like that since I can remember.
I mean, those wide collars went out in the 70s, didn't they?
Oh, no, he's a trendsetter. But he's got his own style. He's got his own style.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess everybody's eccentric to a certain extent. Anyway, so go ahead.
He's eccentric and he's successful. That's what I like the less expensive of the two, the cheaper of the two myself. But that section has got to change.
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be used for writing, at least not for writing long sessions, journal entries or anything. It's meant for signing a check somewhere and showing off your nice pen.
Right.
That jumped out at me with Dan. So
it's more jewelry than it's more art than.
Yeah.
Yeah. I generally I don't like it.
No, not so
No.
much.
Not so much.
Neither.
Something I do like though is this new ink from Herbin.
How do you know? How do you know you like the ink? Aha, gotcha. See, I was going to say the same thing, that I like the ink.
Well,
But
I like the wax seal in the bottle.
What I like is the bottle. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
That's one of them, and it's a new addition to their 1670 anniversary line, which I like the Rouge Hematite that they've released before. So I'm just kind of going off previous experiences.
you have that Rouge, don't you?
I do.
And is it open, or is it just sitting on your shelf looking pretty?
The box and everything is still sealed, but I have a sample
Oh, you
that I
have
use.
actually used the ink.
Yes.
Well, I like Herbin inks. Generally, they're not always as saturated as I would like them to be, but generally I like them. And when you posted this picture of this new ink, which is called Blue Ocean, that is due to be released. It's not out yet, right?
Correct.
My first question was, how can the same company make the world's least functional ink bottle and the world's arguably the most beautiful ink bottle? How is that possible?
I don't know.
This is just a gorgeous ink bottle.
Creative
It is.
design without function.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they're doing with the other. Nobody likes the other ones. At least I haven't met anyone who says what a nice ink bottle this Herbin has. I'm talking about their standard line, but I don't know who would say that this new bottle that they have is not beautiful, because it is.
It's
I think it is. I'm really excited to see the ink. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have any metallic properties to it like the Rouge Hematite did. A lot of people have been saying they'd really love to have seen like a silver metallic sheen to it. Or added to it, or something along those lines. I think that would have been very cool as well. But this will come in the same 50 millimeter bottle and should be at the same price as Rouge Hematite, and it won't be replacing it. It'll be an addition to it, and hopefully, word has said that it should be out in September. We don't have any official word yet, but that's what I'm hoping to hear.
Is this the only, Dan? Is this the only size that's going to come out?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as we know, because the Rouge is only out in this size. But
Correct.
now this is the second in their anniversary line. Are they going to continue, I wonder?
I don't know. I mean, I sure hope they come out with some more colors to celebrate that.
Yeah, we should write to them. Write to them. Anyway, beautiful bottle. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of blue inks, but what I will do is get one of these bottles, and it will probably just sit on my shelf looking pretty.
Join Dan.
Yeah, I'll get a sample so I can try it. That's a good idea, Dan. That's a very good idea.
I'm not entirely
I'm going
crazy.
to write that down before I forget. You'll remind me later. All right. Platinum is back in the news with us. Speaking of blue,
Yeah, they have a demonstrator out, but it's not, a traditional crystal clear demonstrator. This is a new one. It's got a slight blue tint to it, and it's based off the 3776 Century that we're so used to. Now, the slight blue tint is supposed to represent the color of the morning sky over Lake SHOJI. It's one of the 5 lakes on the north side of Mount Fuji, so in case you were interested in that. This pen will be limited to 3,776 pens, each one individually numbered. It comes as a cartridge converter filler, has a 14-karat gold rhodium-plated nib, and is available in soft fine, medium, and broad nibs. And, of course, it does feature Platinum's patented slip and seal cap mechanism, so you can leave it unused for up to a year and come back to it, and it should work just perfect. It's a good-sized pen, 139 millimeters long by 15 millimeters in diameter, so that's just slightly longer than, say, a Pelikan M800 or the same size as a Omos Paragon, and it actually weighs a little bit less than the Pelikan M800. So if you're familiar with the M800, you should be familiar with this pen as well. Not a bad price on this. MSRP of $270 and street price of around $215.
Isn't that, Dan, Eric, wouldn't you say the price point is excellent for this pen? I mean, it's an excellent value, and I just was amazed that they can keep it in as a retail in that range.
I thought so too.
I think it's an excellent price point, and I especially like the very subtle blue tint that it has. That is almost almost difficult to see. I don't know if I would have noticed unless I had been told to look for the blue tint. And I don't know why. I like anything that's numbered, limited edition and numbered.
Well, I'm glad they're making this a little bit. The limited edition isn't so limited. They made the crystal clear one, which I believe was the. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, but it was only like 1,100 pins or 1,700 pins, and they sold out incredibly quickly. And so they raised this to 3,700 pins, so a few more people would be able to experience it.
Right, still a limited run though, and it's still every pen is numbered.
Yeah, and I mean for $215, give or take, I mean I think that's a heck of a price.
Yeah, for $215, you can fill it with ink and leave it in your desk for a year.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You surprised us with a new photo in the Montblanc Liberty Statue of Liberty pen.
Yeah, we actually covered this pen about a month ago. Montblanc made Artisan series pen for the 4th of July, and it's a $33,000 pen. And I just found a picture of the nib this past week. It's a very cool imprint. It's got the torch on it, and it's in gold, and then the rest of the pen is rhodium plated. So it's a two-tone nib. It's very beautiful, very cool. Definitely stop by the website and check it out.
And you would expect it to be a very beautiful and very cool nib for the price tag.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I can retip that nib just to let everybody know, okay? All right. So.
Yeah, get whatever one they have on hand and just take it.
That's right. And I tell you what, I'll offer a quantity discount only on this pen, okay?
3 or more, right? 3 or more, you get a 20% discount.
3 or more, I'll reduce my price like 20%, okay? Is that all right?
That's perfect.
Okay, great. Oh, I will. I can't wait to help people.
Maybe we could do a group buy with Montblanc.
Yeah, a group buy. Perfect. I'll add it to 25%. Gosh, man.
That's awesome.
That's perhaps we should come back to reality now.
Yeah.
Let's see, semi-reality and talk about Montegrappa.
Definitely, yeah. The Memoria collection is not actually that new. It's been out, I think, for about a year now, but it's just something I couldn't pass up. I love the design of this pen. It's a very classic, elegant shape. The top of the cap features the iconic Montegrappa crown derived from the Nero Uno line of pens, and it has a very cool clip. I like the clip on it. It's very curvaceous. It has the roller end on it. For some reason, I just prefer that design of clips. It's available in several styles. My favorite is the full sterling silver with pinstripes, or you can get it with black or ivory resin barrels with caps in sterling silver pinstripe or sterling silver with a matte finish. Each pen is a cartridge converter filler, comes with an 18-karat rhodium-plated nib, available only in medium, kind of a bummer there. But the prices aren't too crazy. The resin barrel pens have an MSRP of $795. You can find them on the street for about $600, and the all silver pen retails for $995 with about a $750 street price.
Wow. You know what? I have to say, Dan, Eric, I looked at the nib right away, and I have to tell you, when's the last time you've seen a nib made by a manufacturer that has all the information, gold content, size, everything named conveniently away from the end of the section?
So you can read it?
Yes.
Well, they know what they're doing.
That's fantastic.
Very nice. But why only one width? What they do this now. I've noticed this in previous weeks. Montegrappa is offering new pens with medium only, and Monteverde, which is really not even in the same league as Montegrappa, is giving you all kinds of choices, including stub.
Well, if you look at the nib imprint, it's a design that I haven't seen before, and now I'm not familiar with every single Montegrappa nib out there, so maybe more of them have this, but it's a very cool design and it's very unique. So maybe they only did a certain number of nibs, or maybe
try out. Yeah.
You know what I think it is?
Size? I don't know.
I think Minuskin is giving them money, so they'll only make medium, so that people will then take their nibs to him.
That makes
100% true. I confess now all my sins in this regard.
Because I assume this is a nib you could retip.
I can do anything.
Yeah, okay, see?
From 0.1 to 1.8. So,
well, that solves my problem. Not that I'm going to get this pen. My favorite one is the all silver too, but that's not even the 750 one. That is the 750 Street. For $750, I want the nib to be the width I want it to be.
Well, I can remedy that. So.
No, I can stub it myself, and I'd be more than happy with it. I just really, I like every aspect of this pen. I would love to get my hands on it. My God, I would hate if it turned out to be a pen I loved, because I really don't want to spend that much on a pen.
No, if I had $750 to throw on a pen right now, I'm sure it would be the Omas 360 vintage in blue. That one caught my eye, and it's still in the back of my mind.
Very nice.
Very nice. Anyway,
so if you are looking for something a little more affordable, Pelikan has a nice M200 Demonstrator coming out. Now, we're not entirely sure if this is going to have a solid gold nib or a gold-plated steel nib, but it will have 24-karat gold-plated hardware, and we don't even know when it's coming out. We have no information about this. We actually had a comment from Rachel Goulet saying that the U.S. version was going to have a solid gold nib. My sources from Europe said that it was going to all be gold-plated. I really don't think they would have two different nibs for the same model, one with solid gold and one with gold-plated. So it'll be interesting to see which one actually is released, because I think that would seriously affect the price.
Well, don't you think that it does, because the nib is easily removed? It doesn't matter. I think it's more just the body with something that functions. I more think it's going to be just the steel nib, as you said, Dan. So, from my answer, but my next question is, obviously you said you had limited information. Is it going to be affected by the new price increase that's going to come up here next week, or is it going to be part of the old price, or do you think it's just going to be built in when they release it?
Yeah, it'll probably just be built in when they release it and part of the new price structure.
Okay. I'm going to be curious what it is then.
Yeah, I'd be curious as well.
I wish the furniture wasn't gold.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just not a fan of that. I guess lots of people are, but I would prefer the pen much more if it didn't have gold furniture.
I'm happy I've already got an M200 demo. Of course, mine is the anthracite, so the gray smoke demo. But so yeah, I'm definitely not tempted by this at all.
No, me neither. Plus, I'm still not happy with Pelikan and their price gouging, raising.
Well, it should be interesting, reflecting back on that other one that we're talking about. The one that what was it? The platinum. The one that you said is reminiscent of the lakes. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that pricing is in competition with the Pelikan to see what happens.
That's a good point.
Well, if they put a gold nib on it, it's going to come out higher than the platinum.
Oh, of course, yeah. So
now I've got an interesting question for you. Would the piston of the Pelikan make you want it more than the CC of the Platinum?
Depends on the capacity.
Well, I'm almost certain that the piston is going to hold more ink.
That's a selling point right there.
And the Pelikan is going to be a smaller pen.
Right. It will be smaller.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. That piston mechanics and the mechanics that people like to see is always a determinant, especially when it comes to demonstrator models.
Well, yeah, I mean, really, what is the point of making a demonstrator or demonstrator-like pen if it doesn't have something interesting inside to look at, like a piston or a button filling, some lever that pushes a bar.
Some mechanical device.
Right.
Oh, and we will get into that a little bit later, fellas.
Oh, we will. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
But right now, let's take a look at some more ink.
More ink. More blue ink.
Yes. Montblanc has come out with a limited edition Diamond Collection bright blue ink, except they haven't told anybody about it. I was completely shocked by this. Usually Montblanc, they make a big deal about all their products. They send it out on Twitter, on Facebook. They advertise it everywhere. But this, nothing, not a word. Some people in the forums, they found out about it because their Montblanc boutique contacted them, and word has been spreading like crazy about it on the forums. It comes in a 30 milliliter bottle, just like the Hitchcock, the Love, the Joy, and the Friendship style inks. It's $17, so not too terribly expensive at all.
Yeah.
Only available from Montblanc boutiques and a website, penboutique.com. But I'm not sure how many are left because people have been buying them by the multiples. Someone said when they called in to order it, the lady on the phone asked him how many bottles he wanted.
How many?
But don't you see this as a clever marketing thing to get people to go into boutiques to get trafficking and also to gauge word of mouth to see how well that advertising does versus putting out slick brochures and the other means of advertising over the years?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is very clever.
This is clever
on their part.
because they fed it to us. And look, we took
That's
the bait.
right.
We're
You
sitting
took
here
the
on our
bait.
podcast and we're talking about it.
That's right. Exactly. You got
But
it. So.
no, it's people really do seem to actually like the ink, both from its properties and its color. It's a lighter blue ink. I think it has a little bit of turquoise in it. Now I haven't actually seen it myself. This is just going from the scans, but there are reviews of it. We have a link posted in our post, so definitely check that out. But
It is a nice color blue. It's a nice color blue. It's not an in-your-face blue. It's I'm a subtle blue. Pay attention to what I'm saying because I'm subtle.
Really?
Yeah.
Subtle.
I'm talking for the ink. I'm, of course, not subtle. Anyway, Montblanc, we'll move on to Sailor. Didn't we already talk about Sailor?
We did, but they're back.
They're back.
Yeah, with the Professional Gear King of Pen Demonstrator. So get your pitchforks out, guys, because you're going to be upset with this one. This is a crystal clear monster. I mean, it's huge. 142 millimeters long by 20 millimeters in diameter. That's larger than the Montblanc 149.
You mean the diameter is larger?
The whole pen.
No, the Montblanc 149 is 149 millimeters. I mean, that's where it got the name. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I
I seem to have surprised you with that.
Anyways, the pen is made from PMMA resin, most commonly known as plexiglass. The importance behind this is that it's very durable, meaning you can drop it, you can squish it, and it's not going to crack or shatter or break. Mm-hmm. One thing I really like about it is the nickel chrome plated hardware. I think it looks fantastic on demonstrators, and this one especially with the number 8 size 21 karat rhodium plated nib.
Beautiful.
I love the look of these pens. Unfortunately, it's a CC filler, and the MSRP is a little high, $990.
Wow.
Get it right from nibs.com for $792.
Well, it's a beautiful pen. I'll grant you that. And, it's a good pen. Sailor made it. But, Greg, I'm so glad you're here. What do you think of 21 karat nibs?
Oh, let me tell you a story. A tale of high adventure. Oh, my gosh. It's too soft for a lot of people's heavy hands today. And the reason why I say this is that because for such a heavy pen and for such a soft nib, it's a recipe for disaster. And so, yes, I can retip it. Don't think that I can't do it, okay? I can retip almost anything. But I've seen too many of these that have damaged. And when you go to straighten them out and to make them flat and even and stuff, because the gold is so soft, the tines often, one gets longer than the other. Whereas with an 18 karat or 14 karat, you could still get a little bit of an evenness and be able to save the tipping. So
because I have heard from nib people that 21 karat is just too soft really for a nib. So I wonder why they use 21 karat. I mean, a good size nib. It's a number 8. That's a great size nib.
Huge.
Should be beautiful. And they put the right color hardware on this pen. I mean, they put the wrong filling system for a demonstrator. But Dan, do you like this pen?
Yeah, I love it.
I
wouldn't spend $800 on it.
What do you think of 21 karat nibs?
I like them. I can use them.
I've never had a problem with one myself.
Complaints from me.
But I wonder if that added to this price tag.
Well, Sailor, all their nibs are made from 21 karat gold nibs, so...
But they're not all number 8, are they?
No.
Surprised me with that one. It's a beautiful pen.
Yep.
It's a beautiful pen. I'm passing on it, but I hope to see one and take a picture of it, just so I can have it in digital format. And then we have to visit the forests.
Yes. Jet pens. put out some of the new products, and I happened upon these sticky notes. And I love sticky notes. I love the cool designs that many of them come in. These are made in Korea and are
He'll be back in just a second. That happens once in a while. He's
designed
there he
to
is.
look like
They're designed to look like what?
tree stumps.
Tree stumps. Okay.
I thought you had me stumped there for a second.
you had
All
me
right.
stumped.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So,
Very nice.
the starter package, it includes a base and your color choice of brown or white, and a package of notes. It contains 70 sticky notes in a 60 millimeter diameter size, so that's about 2¼ inches in diameter, for only $7.70. And you can also buy more refills, same 70 notes, same 60 millimeter diameter, for $3.70. So very, very affordable, very cool looking. And remember, when you order from Jet Pens, $25 or higher gets you free shipping, which
What a
is
deal.
incredible. Yeah, so you can order these, a bottle of ink, and have free shipping.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's, Jet Pens is a place to get Iroshizuku ink. It's one bottle, and you get it for the shipping is free. So I didn't realize they also had a brown base for these. So it looks more like a stump that's growing into your desk, I suppose, if you have it on your desk.
I'm a pen hugger. Are you a pen hugger?
Oh,
Right?
pen
Well,
huggers.
now-
That's for pen huggers.
Yeah, well, now we can be tree huggers.
Tree
okay?
huggers and pen huggers. And what I really want to know is the paper fountain pen friendly?
I don't know.
Dan, I think you
hope-
should get some.
Oh, okay.
You've already ordered them, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you just tell everybody else, look at this neat thing and watch
couldn't
them order
decide
it.
what to add to my order to get to the free shipping, so I haven't ordered them yet.
Oh, okay. It's ink? Ink?
I've got a ton
Yeah,
of
that's
ink.
true. Neither one of us need any ink.
Maybe I should step in and order a half a dozen.
Order half a dozen and then...
Can I? Do they come in like forests? You know?
Yeah, get a whole forest of these. Okay.
That's right.
We could
It's
probably
a
go
grove,
on and on
and then
about that
a
one.
forest, and then so the different levels, right?
Yeah, that'll be added to my next Jet Pens order. Lisa Anderson was with us last week, or during the week.
She has an amazing little carry case, doesn't she?
Just two of them. One for her what? One for her purse and one for her, the bigger one goes in her tote or travel
Right.
tote, I think she said.
Yeah, she has a 6-pin case and then a 4-pin case, and they're filled with, quite the variety of pens, and only one Esterbrook. I was surprised. Were you?
Well, she is the queen of Esterbrook, and so
Yeah.
maybe she carries only one on a daily basis, but she probably has. Well, I don't even want to know how many Esterbrooks she has, especially now that she's married to Brian. Together,
Yes.
there's a reason they call her the queen of Esterbrook.
Yes.
'Cause
Pallets of pens.
Pallets of pens, yes. One Esterbrook, and it's a nice one.
One of my favorites is actually the second pen from the left, that Burgundy Faceted VP. That's one that Brian bought from me for their anniversary this year.
Wasn't that nice?
Aww.
And that was one of a set of 3 of those Burgundy Namiki faceted vanishing points. Brian got one for Lisa. I got one for myself.
Yep.
And I told Lisa that, and I said, well, maybe we're twins. No, we're not twins. I guess we're triplets. We were trying to figure out what we should now call each other. Are we pen-in-laws or Namiki-in-laws? We're somehow related. We just don't know how just yet. We will figure that out.
Do we want to reveal what the mislabeled pen was?
I think for our listening audience, we can.
Are you going to try to stump the guest host, though? Because I'm stumped.
Oh, you're stumped.
Yeah. So.
Were we talking about Paul Bunyan sticky notes again?
Oh yeah, there you go. That's good. That's good. No, I'm talking about the mislabeled.
Well, I
pen.
mislabeled a pen in and among her daily carries. The Bexley Jitterbug is not a Bexley Jitterbug. It is, in fact, an Edison Pearlette that she found and could not leave alone at the Chicago Pen Show. She just kept picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down until she finally made a deal with Brian Gray in this case, and she took it home with her, and now it's in her daily carry. And it is a beautiful pen. And it doesn't, if you look at it right next to a Jitterbug, it does not look like a Jitterbug. But I didn't know which other pen to mislabel.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that ST Dupont or that Schaefer next to it might have thrown some people off.
So I want to make it not obvious, but not where you have to spend half a day researching every pen. So that's the one I chose for this one. So now everybody listening knows that that is actually a, what is it? A pearlette.
Edison pearlette.
Yes, I was about to call it a jitterbug, but it's not. Oh, have we gotten mail? That's next on our list. And we have been getting mail, and it's all the snail mail we have been getting has been for the new pen giveaway, the Franklin-Christoph desk pen.
Right.
Oh.
And then, have you gotten anything new this week, Dan?
Yes, I've got quite a few inks, actually. I don't know if anybody's heard of them, but there's a new ink company out there called Organic Studio, and they're making a new line of Elements ink. We actually have all 10 on the way to us. I have 6 in my possession right now. I have the Carbon Black, the Cobalt Blue Purple, Mercury Red, Neon Orange, the Uranium Green, and one more. I can't remember what it is, but I've got 4 of them inked up in my pens right now. They're lovely colors. I really like them. I haven't really done any test on it, but we will be adding those to our ink encyclopedia. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
You ordered 6 and I ordered 4. That's what I got this week too, is 4 of these bottles. And I ordered the 4 colors that you did not order. And about a day after I got them, I sent them to you. So you can have all 10 of them.
Right, yeah. And the postman was supposed to drop them off today. I totally missed them, so I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to play with them.
You mean it was Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. My days are so confused right now.
But I sent them to you because I don't care for the bottles.
Yeah.
It's not just the shape. I mean, they look like jelly jam jars to me.
It's hilarious because when you first got them, you sent me a text and asked me if I got my jam jelly jars, and I had no clue what you were talking about. But yeah, the jars, they do. They look exactly like jam or jelly jars.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably what they are. They were, bought pre-made. They weren't special order jars. I'm not sure how I feel about a metal lid on an ink jar.
Well, the Schaefer snorkel came with a metal one. Yeah.
Okay.
From the 50s. Yeah. It has that little meniscus spot you could put the snorkel
the one you tilted and it...
Yeah. In fact, we look for those. My wife Jan and I, we look for those at flea markets and antique shops, and we picked up some on a recent antiquing trip because they're very popular at calligraphic and pointed pen people for that little reservoir.
That's what I use for a dip pen.
Yeah, exactly.
But inside the, I guess you're right. That is a metal lid, and inside it has paper. Really, it's basically paper.
Yeah. Well, we've changed it out. So.
Yeah. So
I mean.
You tell me, Dan. I just sent them to you so you could see them all, and you can tell me what you think.
No, I totally understand what you're saying about the bottle because, I mean, we have all these, different interesting shapes, and, that's kind of something, I don't know, I guess we've grown used to. I mean, it's definitely superficial of us, but, I see Visconti's old glass V bottles, and I want every bottle to look like that. Yeah, I mean, that's my favorite design,
Or this new one we just talked about from J. Herbin. Or, even... if this ink, these new organics inks, aren't going to have a bottle that is, in my eyes, more presentable, and I know that's subjective, completely subjective, what's the point? Why do we need another ink company?
Yeah, but maybe they're organic shapes. I don't know what they look like, so...
Yeah, they're organic. You know what I want? Because this bottle made me think about, what is it I want? What I want is 3 ounces of ink in a 4-ounce bottle. So that when you open...
Okay.
Have you ever opened a brand new bottle of Noodlers?
Yes, I have.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous because it is filled up to the brim.
The brim.
So even if you can manage to get it open without spilling it all over whatever it's over, you have to get a pen in there to fill the pen. And what I want is just 3 ounces in a 4-ounce bottle so that there's always room, even when it's brand new. And when I get down to my last half ounce, I can order a new bottle, open it up, and pour that last half ounce in the new bottle.
But Eric, here's the problem.
Oh no, you're going to shoot it down, aren't you?
I know.
Not even 2 seconds could I live with that dream.
I'm sorry to ruin it. It's just...
What, are they trying to keep air out of the bottle?
Yeah. Well, no. the problem is that a lot of people, when they want to have a first experience with something, they don't want to make a spill, and it puts them a negative impression from a product standpoint, regardless what's inside. You see what I'm saying? So if you were to open up a product and all the potato chips fly out, that's why they put that volume of air in first, you see.
Perhaps there was a miscommunication. I want 3 ounces of ink in a 4-ounce bottle.
Right. Oh, okay.
So
that's what you want.
So there's space.
What you want. Right. That's okay. I'm sorry.
The way it is right now, and I'm picking on noodlers most especially because they really, really fill their bottles. It's to the brim. To the brim. You have to be... And you should be warned about that before you get your first ever bottle of noodles.
My apologies. Flip it around. So.
Yeah, so that's what I want.
Okay.
I want extra space.
I was thinking about this a little bit, and my perfect bottle would be an Ackerman bottle in like a 60 milliliter size.
Right, because right now aren't they 70 now, or is it 100?
I think it's like 100.
Oh, but you want a mini Ackerman?
Yes, a mini Ackerman.
Yeah, now that's another one that was, well, I'm going to say it was filled to the brim, but really it was the neck that was filled to the brim. You're about to get your bottle, Dan. So
I know.
It is difficult to get
the post office is right across the street, and I so desperately want to break in there.
Pound on their door.
It is difficult to get the ink out of the neck once it's trapped in there, but if you play with it, you can get, and I suggest you get some ink out of the neck before you open it because it was all over. And I knew instantly it was a beautiful color because it was all over everything.
Oh my gosh!
Anyway,
now, I did pick up some pens, by the way, at the flea market. So
what flea market do you go to where you find pens?
Oh,
you're not going to tell us. Don't.
No. But I picked up a herringbone Parker Duofold in gray.
Not a piece of junk, a usable, salvageable pen.
Oh, delicious pen. Yes,
I haven't seen a decent fountain pen. Not that I go every weekend, so I shouldn't even be talking. But I stopped going because they don't have pens at flea markets anymore. But that's probably because he gets there, right, Dan? He gets there at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And he's already talked to everybody, and they're saving their pens for him.
Who's this again?
Yeah, you.
Oh, me. Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, yeah. I have pickers that put stuff aside for me. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So it was a little difficult when I had my foot surgery, but I'm back in rare form.
Oh, they had a big stash waiting. Oh, now that explains the 100 pens you're taking to D.C. What's going on in the forums, Mr. Smith?
Well, we have a Pelikan M200 review by KrazyIvan.
All right.
He's done a handwritten review, and it's actually a fantastic review. I really like it. He bought the pen because of the price increase that's coming, and he makes a really good point. He says, with this recent price increase by Pelikan, his next purchase for a pen in this range will probably not be a Pelikan, but something else. And he's really looking towards Edison production line pens. And I think that's just a really good point because, maybe Pelikan's starting to push customers away with this new increase.
Well, anybody who is thinking about a Pelikan and still thinks about a Pelikan at this higher price can also now look around at all the other pens at that price point.
Yeah.
Like Ivan, saying, well, now I'm practically going to spend enough for an Edison, I think I'll go for an Edison.
Exactly.
And an M200, Dan, is what did I get from the LA Pen Show all those years ago? What Pelikan was that? Smoky.
I'm not sure.
I sent you one.
Oh, the ones that we have, those are M200s.
Those are M200s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Aren't they a little small?
I think they're a little small.
Yeah, they're a little small. I don't know what they go for. I don't recall they were very expensive.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the new prices are going to be on them either.
Yeah. No, Pelikan's on my list this week. But that doesn't mean I wasn't looking at that 400 NN that you put in the Sunday Shopper. Because, 400 NA is going to be on my list for DC. Absolutely. Shall we play a little game since we're all here?
Yeah, absolutely. Are we going to give something away?
Let's give something away, and let's play the Geek Challenge. Do not start calling yet, please. There's been a change to how you contact me. Let's talk about the prize first. We'll play the Geek Challenge, and the winner will receive 5 10-milliliter ink sample vials, all full of ink.
Oh, man, look at that.
It's going to be a grab bag of ink. Mr. Smith has the inks in his possession, and he will pick 5 at random. So it'll just be a surprise when you receive them, should you call in and should you win them. I think I explained that correctly, did I, Dan?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. The last time we played the Geek Challenge, we had some technical difficulties on my end. Brandon, please don't call yet.
Who's Brandon?
Brandon is calling already. Technical difficulties from the last time we played, so this time I'm going to take the third caller instead of the first caller. When I say call me, which I haven't said yet, I'll mute my microphone. It'll probably take me a few seconds to get to the third caller because I can't just hang up on people. I have to say, hello, you're not the third caller. And then once I get the caller on the line, I'll come back and we'll play the Geek Challenge. I've got the 3 questions. So whenever you're ready, please call me, 909-647-5056. Dan and Greg, you're going to have to entertain the troops in my absence.
Oh, okay.
So, Greg, what's some of your favorite inks to use in that Lone 51 that you have?
Well, it's right here, by the way. I have to show it again. So, yes, my favorite inks are Waterman Blue. I also use Pelikan Blue, and I also use Parker Quink. I also enjoy the Viscontis, and I also enjoy the Omos inks. Mostly, though, since I'm signing checks, like at the post office or something, they like blue or black, or the bank, so I use blue or black. So, but I definitely use mostly blues or blacks in that pen, and I use those five inks exclusively. And I order most of my inks, would you believe, straight up from Fred Krinke at the Fountain Pen Shop in Monrovia, California. He sends me 4 or 5 bottles by priority mail, and that's what I use. And I use that also for testing as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Visconti inks. I've got their brown, their burgundy, their green, and their black. And it's hard for me to choose which one I like best because, I mean, they're all such good inks. And I think what initially attracted to me was their glass V bottles. And when I had first heard that they were going to stop making those, I bought up a whole bunch of bottles of them.
Oh, really?
And and I still have a ton of it left over because, I mean, I've got probably 30 other bottles.
Are we ever going to see that rack to your right of a display, or is it like is it kind of a private collection of, because you keep doing the, the thumb thing.
It's hard for me. I probably could turn my whole computer because it is an iMac and the whole thing would just turn. But I actually did a video of a pen review, and that's the backdrop, so you could get a good shot of that. And I should probably post some pictures in the forums and stuff.
We have caller number 3. Yes, I'm jumping in here and interrupting you.
I'm sorry. It's all right. We're just doing inky thoughts. So.
Oh, we're doing inky thoughts. Okay, we have. Writing Rob is on the phone with us.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Can you hear us, Writing Rob? I can, he says. If you're ready to play, I'm ready to read the questions. You say green light, I'll go.
Green light.
Okay. And you can stop calling now, people. We have the caller on the phone. The first statement, true or false, Writing Rob. The quill pen was invented in the year 1120 by Saint Nibius.
False.
Writing Rob says false. Dan, what do you say?
I was going to say true because that sounds true.
Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Mr. Minuskin, you laughed at it.
I have to consult my wife on that one. Saint Nibius. I'm going to say false on that one.
It is false. Saint Nibius is actually a made-up saint, made up by SBRE Stephen Brown. So I have to thank him for that question. Very good writing, Rob. Number 2. Traditionally, the most highly prized quill pens were made from ostrich feathers. Writing Rob is thinking. Would you like help from the audience? Because it doesn't look like Dan or Greg know off the top of their heads, but they didn't laugh.
Well, I would say false because they were obviously turkey feathers.
Okay, Dan says that it has to be false because they probably used turkey feathers.
I'm going to say goose for an X in the middle square.
And Mr. Minuskin says goose for X in the middle square. So he's saying false as well. Do you have an opinion on this writing, Rav?
I didn't think there were too many ostriches running around the country.
So is that
he's saying false?
Is he saying false? Yes, it is false. Yes, it is false. That is correct. They're not ostrich feathers. In fact, I don't even know if anybody has ever made. Probably, so they have made some, but no, they were goose. And I think, if I remember reading, some people said that swan feathers were even better than goose. But of course, goose was much more common. So yes, ostrich feathers were not the most sought after. And the final. True or false statement. Writing Rav, if you were watching last week, you'll know that I covered the Declaration of Independence. So I'll ask the same question this week, but with a different document. True or false, the Magna Carta was written with a quill pen?
I would think that that's true.
Right off the top of his head, he said, I would think that that's true. Yes, that was true. I wouldn't know what else they would use. It's about the same time as St. Nibius, so, perhaps they were in cahoots. Okay. So
I'm gosh, I can't wait to look up St. Nibius on Wikipedia.
I'm going to say goodbye to Writing Rav, and you two can entertain yourselves.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we supposed to fill the air here? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. Yes. Fill the air. Yeah. Let me go ahead. I can ask my wife, Janet. What's the best quill stuff that was the best animal they used for quills? Goose. My wife says goose because she's actually cut and made her own goose quills.
Well, if Janet says it, I believe it.
Okay, so yeah, she says it. She believes, yeah. So, because one of the questions was obviously that was it ostrich? No. So yeah, goose was the she says the best one, and the Magna Carta definitely would have been written in 1490 something.
1490, King John the Second or something like that.
Okay, all right. You're back.
I am back, and I thought I heard Janet's name was used, so she chimed in on the whole goose.
Mm-hmm. I had to defer.
Did she say anything about the swan?
Special tools to cut. There's special tools to cut it and make it sharp. So yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. In fact, I just picked up a set at a flea market too.
I don't know what flea markets he goes to, but he knows the ones to go to. He's finding all kinds of good stuff. Dan, I will give you Writing Rav's address after the show, and you can get those samples off to him.
All right, fantastic.
And I will change the slide, and I think that's it for this week. I will, of course, remind everyone how they can contact us. You can write to us via email. We're at podcast@fpgeeks.com. You can call us, 415-685-GEEK. That's 415-685-4335. We are on Twitter, twitter.com/fpgeeks. Facebook, facebook.com/fpgeeks. We have a website, fpgeeks.com, and we have a fun forum, fpgeeks.com/forum. Speaking of Twitter, as of today, we're at 830 followers.
Ooh,
I hadn't looked at that in a while, and wow, we're getting up there. It's nice to be followed. And before I forget, you can write to us. Fountain Pen Geeks, P.O. Box 499, Highland, California, 92346. If you're going to write in about the Franklin-Christoph desk pen giveaway, be sure to visit the site and the post about that giveaway so that you know what to write on your entry.
And thank you for having me, by the way. I never signed off in that regard, but thank you again for having me as your special guest.
It's always nice to have you, and especially nice that we get to see how you find and grow your nibs, which is always...
Well, there'll be many other ways.
I'm not sure if the audience knows, but that's always a surprise to me and Dan, too, because you don't tell us what you're about to do. You're standing there.
Clue. It's awesome.
You've got that all figured out. So before I sign up, I'll just remind everyone, don't skip like Greg Minuskin.
And don't hesitate like Dan.
And don't railroad like Eric.
All right, we'll get all that taken care of. Anything else, gentlemen?
No, that's all.
That's all I have. I thank you both for being here. Thank you, audience, and we'll talk to you again next week. Next week, by the way, will be on Saturday. It'll be Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific.
Are we having a special guest?
We are having a special guest who doesn't even know about it yet, so he'll find out about it when he listens to this podcast.
To the guest.
It will be, of course, SBRE Stephen Brown. From the Netherlands will be joining us, and that's why it's at the special time, 8 a.m. on Saturday, so that he can actually be awake for the show. because he's asleep right now. He's not going to find out about this till tomorrow. He's going to be taking the train to work or wherever he goes, and he's going to get to the end of the show until he finds out he's on next week. Okay, good night, everybody.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
You've been listening to Eric and Dan on Fountain Pen Radio, a weekly podcast produced by FPGeeks.com. Thanks for listening. But the fun is far from over, as the site is constantly buzzing with new content. So until next week, thanks for coming out. Good night.